Sup Tunes, Lord Gloopus here, presenting you with
Does it suck? Yeah.
the series in which I play a game and ask a simple question.
Does it suck? Yeah.
Today, we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077 and let's just say this is a top 2 video game comeback of all time. We all know how Cyberpunk launched with a plethora of bugs, performance issues, soft locks, and in general was a bad time. I never played the game in this state, so I have no personal experience, but rest assured, I understood how dogshit it really was. However, on September 21st, 2023, 1015 days, or almost 3 whole years after the game was released, they came up with the Cyberpunk 2.0 update, and let me tell you, this changed everything. It fixed a lot of the performance issues, bugs, soft locks, and changed a bad time into a really fucking good time. 1 week later, they also released the first DLC, Phantom Liberty, which was also one of the best pieces of content I have ever played from a DLC. Disclaimer, this video contains spoilers. Also, I didn't record my first playthrough, so this is random gameplay from my second playthrough. This was also played on Xbox Series S, so I cannot speak for any other platforms. I start off this journey by finishing the anime Cyberpunk Edgerunners, so now whenever I hear I really want to stay at your house, I can't help but cry. My friend T-Stains told me that the 2.0 update was out and that I should play it, and I was like, we'll see. He told me about these mantis blades that come out of your arms, and I was like, that's cool, but can I get an arm sword? He told me no, but you can just use a katana, so at that point I knew what I wanted to use. Eventually I downloaded the game and I started my character and was immediately entertained by being able to choose whether I was circumcised or not, as well as being able to change the size of my cock. I loaded into the Street Kid introduction, not knowing that the next 5 days will consist of hyperfixation and many, many hours of Cyberpunk. We get introduced to an absolute meathead known as Jackie Wells, who serves as our sidekick for the introduction. We play as a character known simply as V, who is a small-time merc wanting to make it big in Night City. Mercs basically take jobs or gigs from fixers, and they can be a variety of situations. Simple things such as theft and espionage, leading all the way to becoming literal hitmen, depending on who's paying. Basically, anything that's illegal, we can get paid to do it. We complete a couple of gigs, we meet our local Ripper Doc known as Vic, as well as a few other side characters. Our district, Watson, is currently in lockdown, which basically means that Watson is our introductory area to complete activities in until Act 1 begins. We receive a gig from a hotshot fixer known as Dexter Deshawn, where basically we have to steal a data chip known as the Relic from Yorinobu Arasaka, the son of the Arasaka Emperor Saburo Arasaka. Get used to me saying Saka because it's very prevalent in the story. We meet with a woman named Evelyn who shows us a brain dance, which is basically a recording of a real-life event played through virtual reality of Yorinobu's penthouse suite, where we find out where the relic is being stored and what the security is like. We also meet a cyborg legend known as Adam Smasher, who delivers the coldest line in the entire game, and it's up there for the coldest lines of all time.
You look like a cut of fuckable meat, are you?
We also have to cut a deal with the Maelstrom gang in order to obtain a bot known as the Flathead. We can also cut a deal with an agent of Militech called Meredith Stout, and if we go along with the deal we can get a very saucy scene during Act 2, but that's besides the point. Eventually we head to Konpeki Plaza with Jackie by our side and T-Bug as our resident netrunner, and we begin the heist. We head up into the hotel, deal with security, and end up in the penthouse suite, and we manage to take the relic. Unfortunately, Yorinobu arrives and spoils the fun, so we have to hide in the pillar which we can see through. He walks into the room with Smasher and Takamura, another important piece of the story, and a bit after, Saburo himself arrives and they start to have a little chat about Yorinobu stealing the relic from Saka. After Smasher and Takamura leave, in a fit of rage, Yorinobu kills his own father by strangling him in front of us. A lockdown gets called and basically we're fucking screwed. As we're trying to escape from the roof, T-Bug gets made and gets fried, which is the last we hear from her all game. We get shot off a ledge and Jackie gets injured and the device holding the relic gets damaged, causing Jackie to insert the relic into his head. Now, we can either sneak or go guns blazing down to the bottom floor to escape via our Delamain cab. We get ambushed by Smasher, who, funnily enough, smashes our car, but we manage to get away safely. Unfortunately, Jackie is wounded and is dying very fast. We watch our best friend die in the back of the cab, and the last thing he does is he gives us the relic which we insert into our own head, and he passes. We go back to Dex and explains what happened. He scolds us, then tells us to clean our face, and when we leave the bathroom, he shoots us in the head. We start to dream and see visions of a different man performing on stage, before boarding a helicopter and flying straight to Arasaka Tower with a fucking nuclear warhead on board. This is Johnny Silverhand, played by the GOAT Keanu, as everyone knows, and we start seeing his memories of when he nuked Arasaka Tower and eventually gets taken out by the hands of none other than Adam Smasher. We then see him get carried away by Saka forces, strapped to a chair, getting questioned by Saburo before eventually uploading into a personality engram. You see where this is going? Our eyes awaken as V once more. We're in a junkyard. We crawl forward, eventually seeing Dex and Takamura together. Dex claims that he's done his job, and so Takamura then shoots Dex in the head and takes us with him. After a chase with Saka assassins, we find out that the relic was Johnny Silverhand's personality engram, and that it's slowly consuming our body and mind in order to replace our personality with Silverhand's. We're given about 3 weeks to live, with no leads, and a rampant terrorist living in our brain, making snarky comments all the fucking time. This is Cyberpunk 2077. Like, that's just the intro, man. Like, it really goes from 0 to 100 really fucking quick, and then somehow the game stays at 100 the entire way. It's actually fucking bonkers. I had a crazy time playing this, averaging 11 hours a day before completing it, and that's not with any side content, but it does include the DLC, as I wanted all 5 endings. Yes, there are 5 fucking endings. If I spoke about my entire playthrough, this video would be about 5 hours long, and to be completely honest, I don't want to fucking make that and you don't want to fucking watch it. The combat overall is pretty decent, fluid, and can be relatively in-depth. I have to admit that using guns on a controller feels a little bit jank and clunky. However, this gets overruled by the melee weapons being really satisfying to use, and overall, considering that I made mostly a katana build, I had a really great time flying around in slow motion, cutting people's heads off. Cyberpunk has relatively in-depth build crafting, with plenty of different playstyles that are easy to use and easy to understand skill trees and abilities, as well as cyberware modifications to amp up any build in a pinch. The fact that this single-player RPG has legitimate build videos on YouTube goes to show how great the build crafting actually is. The game feels and looks great. I had very little lag spikes on my Series S, and the game still looked pretty despite playing on my hardware and on performance mode. The driving is definitely weird to get used to, but as soon as you realise that holding down the throttle will make your car drift, it gets a lot easier to control, and overall the driving works out to be fine. I spent most of my time actually on foot though, because I found air dashing to be more fun than driving. So, to answer the question of
Does it suck? Yeah.
The answer is no. Cyberpunk 2077 does not suck. Yeah. If you haven't played this yet, or if you're still scarred by the game's release, you really need to give it a shot. I promise your life will be changed. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.